Welcome to another weekly webinar with Sarah Flack, the Education Coordinator for the Child Advocacy Center of the Finger Lakes. With the holidays really approaching, I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk to everybody about some tips for managing holiday stress. Tip one is to plan ahead. You want to make sure that you have all your lists for meals, lists for times and dates and schedules, as well as gift giving. Be sure to aside time in advance. So, whether that's for grocery shopping, cleaning, purchasing or making gifts, writing holiday cards, or making special plans, be sure to start early and set aside specific time for these activities. Sometimes, when we don't have enough time on our hands available to complete these activities, it can create a lot of stress as we feel like we are rushing, or these things that we typically should enjoy doing start to feel more like chores. You also want to plan ahead to have alternatives. With the COVID-19 pandemic, it might be important to get creative this holiday season. Plans could change at the drop of a dime, and you want to make sure that you can still get together with friends, family, and loved ones in order to celebrate this special season. You can get creative with virtual events. You can Skype, you can get on Zoom. You can also do live parties where you're doing Secret Santa events or gift exchanges, as well as playing a variety of games together. That way, even though you might be far away, you can still be close at heart. You can also consider doing this for people who are unable to travel, whether this has to do with the COVID pandemic or not. Other things to consider would be to make homemade cards or gifts and have special touches straight from the heart. Tip two for managing holiday stress is to stick to a budget. This can be really difficult. You want to make that list and check it twice. So think of who you'll be able to buy gifts for this year. It's okay to limit the number of people that you're buying gifts for. Before I had my own children, I tended to buy gifts for many of my extended family, including my cousins. However, now that we're all adults and we all have our own families, we really try to focus on just buying for the kids or doing a secret Santa name exchange as our family has grown quite large. That way, everybody has something that they receive and something they purchase without breaking the bank. It's a good idea to start saving some extra money on the side and putting that away if you have big holiday plans this year, as well as to start shopping early. Shopping early can reduce stress because you may be able to find deals and special savings earlier on in the holiday season, as well as it'll give you more time to make sure that you've gotten everyone on your list and have time to receive the items, especially if you're having them shipped directly through the mail, and time to wrap and deliver. You could also think outside of the box. So instead of giving a traditional gift like a toy or an article of clothing, maybe you do something special like time together or a family movie night, and don't feel like you need to go overboard. Focus on the reason for the season. Time with family is very important, as well as time spent with friends and loved ones. Try to take the focus off of the gift and put it back onto other things you enjoy. That could be caroling, watching your favorite movies, or having a game night. Tip number three is don't abandon healthy habits. Healthy habits are important every day of the year, including on holidays. Your health and wellness are important. When it comes to those big feasts at Thanksgiving and Christmas and other holidays, moderation and portion control is key. It's certainly normal to want to sample a little bit of everything. Just be sure to take smaller portions and to get a well balanced diet. You can also consider eating smaller meals throughout the day as opposed to one gigantic meal in the middle of the day. Be sure to keep time for your physical and emotional health. Some of these things would include your exercises, going out for a walk, time to meditate or worship, and don't forget to stay hydrated and get plenty of rest. Slowing down at the holiday season is just as important as visiting with family. Be sure to take some time to recharge your batteries. Tip 4, give yourself a break. It is okay to say no or to stay home this holiday season. Don't feel like you have to rush around and complete everything all at once. Many of us try to travel between multiple different families. Maybe you consider different ways to connect this year that reduces and limits that travel, which will also help with the social distancing policies related to the COVID-19 pandemic. Remember, it's not a competition. Nobody gets extra points for the biggest, most expensive, or most number of gifts. Give and receive what makes your heart happy. And take that extra moment to give thanks for what you do have instead of dwelling on what you do not. Other ways to give yourself a break include recognizing when you were tired or stressed and practicing self care and preservation. You can do this in many ways. Take time for a walk, you can read a book, you can watch your favorite holiday movie, or simply just sit under the pretty lights drinking a nice cup of hot cocoa. And tip number 5, our last tip for today, is to reach out. And I mean this really in two ways. So be sure to take that time to check in with your family and friends, especially ones you haven't seen in a while, or ones who may be more isolated and restricted to travel and visiting. You can also connect if you're feeling isolated or restricted via community or religious events. And lastly, consider volunteering. There are many of opportunities for volunteering, especially around the holidays. Sometimes the best way to connect is to connect with people who really need it. And if you are struggling, I want you to remember that seeking professional help when you need it is not something to be embarrassed or ashamed of. You may want to consider seeking professional help from a counselor or medical provider if you are experiencing any symptoms related to anxiety or depression, which could include an inability to sleep, irritability, hopelessness, a variety of physical complaints, or the inability to complete daily activities. If you need more tips or have some questions, you can certainly reach me at sarah@cacfingerlakes.org or by our main office phone number, which is 585-394-2573. All of us at the Child Advocacy Center of the Finger Lakes want to wish you and your families all a happy and healthy holiday season.